have we got here now? Napier Motel Association, Mr. Evan Jennings.
Again, councillors, page 47 for the staff response.
Good morning, Mr. Jennings. Welcome. Pretty straightforward process. You've seen how it works. So 10 minutes, and good to see you here.
I don't propose to read.
Just, if you could turn your microphone on, please. Yeah. Little button down the front, right in front of you. There you go.
I'm just going to talk to the submission that we've put through, and I'm heartened to hear the previous speakers in relation to sporting activities in the Bay, because quite simply, in our industry, it creates the lifeblood for our existence. And there's no question that many of our members are struggling currently. There is no one easy fix. It's going to require a combination of contributions to help us improve. Now, can I just at this point, Mr Chairman, indicate an amendment to the submission? It records the word underneath the principal subject of finding. It should be funding. I represent 32 members within Napier, and they're made up of motels, hotels and motor camps. 16 of those members are financial members of the RTO currently. 3 recently, or certainly within the last 4 weeks, joined the RTO. So we're still acknowledging your call, Mr Chairman, about putting more skin into the game. Queen's birthday weekend of 2003 saw my wife and I take over Marineland Motel on the West Shore. At that time, the average national tenure of a motelier was 2.5 years. It's something like 8.5 years now. At that time, there were mostly paper bookings. There were few computers. Most of the booking was done by phone or by fax. The word Google was a word associated with grandchildren in play. The web was synonymous with spiders. Hawke's Bay Wine Country was the tourism body, and then some 3 years later became another body, Venture Hawke's Bay, as you know, followed on by the organisation that we have today. The spiders I mentioned earlier are electronically massaged by our membership now to create more business. The children are ordered off Google so that they don't interfere with future bookings coming in. The point that I'm making here is that over the 10 years there's been incredible changes within our industry. One of the things that I think, or we believe we overlooked, was the huge increase of alternative accommodation options available to our clients. That's something that we have to address, and some of us are addressing it and are doing so with some success with the RTO. I mentioned some of the skills that they bring to our industry, and our membership is encouraged to adopt those skills and the support. There's website training, marketing training, social media training, all free at no cost to the membership. And some of the things that they have done for us, in particular, I'll cite 2 situations. One was with regard to the Rugby World Cup. The West Shore group, which was made up of hotels, camping grounds and moteliers, sought the assistance of the RTO to try and market internationally. There were a lot of people coming through. We targeted the French in particular and subsequently negotiated their support group, which totalled 320, I think, to coin a figure. It was high, for 4 principal nights and then one off night. Now, we worked hard to get the business, we secured the business, and probably returned somewhere in the order of $60,000 just to the West Shore team. I know there was a lot of publicity at the time throughout the rest of Napier where there was little monetary gain from the Cup. Well, there's an example where it worked for us. Another one recently, my wife and I ran a fish and chips on the beach opportunity as a special promotion. Again, put up by the RTO. We went to them and said, things are tight. We too are looking for an opportunity. So they help us advertise it, put the package together. Long story short, it gave us a return on investment of 24 to 1. We will be doing it again next year, and I would suspect the West Shore Group will join in with that marketing program. Napier, in our view, is always going to be a destination of arrival. It's got the airport, it's got the port. It seems to us that the RTO is lacking the appropriate funding. Mr. Chairman, I mentioned earlier that you called on us 3 years ago, roughly, for the industry to put skin into the game. Some of us are doing just that, over and above the membership to the RTO, and it's still increasing. We would ask that the Regional Council continue with the funding contract with the RTO. It is, in our view, well established and performing well. It is up to the rest of us now to come together and form what is a strategic plan to increase tourism into the Bay. Thank you, sir.
Just could I start with a quick question there? The question of annual plan funding was never, next year's our big discussion, obviously. Is this more about just telling a good story about what the RTO are doing? I mean, because it was not at risk, it is heartening to read submissions. People have been submitting to the GM saying what a great job you're doing, and she in turn said, well, don't tell me, tell everyone else. So is that what this is more about, or is there a concern that the funding may be at risk?
No, we would seek an increase in the current funding level to put it on a more equitable plane with Taupo. There's no secret in the fact that the Napier Motel Association, prior to the current committee, had a somewhat different view on what the organisation is doing. A number of us have been working closely with the organisation since its inception, so it's certainly saying, in our view, it is working. And for 3 other members to join just recently, I would respectfully suggest as an indication of the support that is now starting to grow.
You might either want to or be able to answer this, but what sort of contribution would each motelier make in monetary terms? Are you able to give us a steer on that? Is it sort of $500 or? Sorry,
I can't comment on other membership, but I'm happy to say that there's an annual fee of $600 and something to join. Marineland is contributing $2,000 per annum over and above that.
Thank you for your submission, Mr. Jennings. You referred to the increase in accommodation, and in your written one it says it's probably doubled over the last 10 years, and you highlighted the increase in alternative accommodation. Has also the business changed? Are you now more reliant on tourists as against what was traditionally a commercial traveller?
Oh, goodness, Councillor, our industry has been turned on its head since the recession, and we are down, Marineland's down over $100,000 a year, and has been in the last 2 years, simply through 2 major contractors. There's no roading monies available now. We're having to go out and seek alternative funding to try and prop that up. It's incredibly tight. So corporate clients is another one. Businesses are putting travellers off, they're putting mileage bans in place, so we're not getting those, which this time of the year would be what we call our bread and butter. Now, the RTO on its own is not going to be able to turn that round in 5 minutes. No one organisation, in our view, is going to.
Councillor Dick.
Yes. What is your penetration of the motel accommodation market? 32 members. Roughly what proportion would that be of established accommodation houses?
It's roughly 50% I gather. See, what did we... 106, somewhere in that order now is the total availability of accommodation providers if you look at rent-a-batch apartments and the like. We come under hotels, motels, which is a tourism sector.
Thank you. We're out of time. Thank you, Mr. Jennings. That was very good, very informative.